Welcome again to Module 3. Our first task in this module will be to complete a school data summary for your school. This will help us start working towards identifying goals for your school counseling program. We start with data because a comprehensive school counseling program is data-informed, and a data-informed program depends on an awareness and an analysis of school data. So what's so important about data? Reviewing data will help make us more efficient and effective. When we are able to identify needs for which we can set goals, we can then prioritize where we spend our time. We aren't randomly selecting interventions and strategies based on hunches of what students need. We now have information, data, that tells us what they really need. We can be targeted, or more surgical if you will, in our strategies and interventions and shed some of the tasks, activities, strategies that are out of date, don't serve our students, or are no longer or were never a need. Things that were on our plate just because that's what we've always done. Additionally, when we have goals and results showing our accomplishments, we are perceived as efficient and effective by teachers and school staff, by parents and stakeholders, and most importantly by administrators and those who make decisions about school services. Also, analyzing data helps us avoid cognitive biases. We all, as humans, are subject to cognitive biases. Cognitive biases are strong, preconceived notions about someone or something based on information we have, we think we have, or that we lack. These preconceptions are mental shortcuts our brain produces to expedite information processing, to quickly help us make sense of what we are seeing. There are different types of biases people experience that influence and affect the way we think, behave, and our decision-making process. For example, we may think we know why students are absent, such as students lack motivation or their parents don't believe school is important, but we may be falling victim to confirmation bias. This type of bias refers to the tendency to seek out information that supports something we already believe to be true. Or perhaps we are falling victim to another type of cognitive biases, such as fundamental attribution error. This bias refers to the tendency to attribute someone's particular behaviors to existing, unfounded stereotypes while attributing our own similar behavior to external factors. For instance, when someone you work with is late to an important meeting, you may assume that they are lazy or lacking motivation without considering internal and external factors like an illness or a traffic accident that led to the tardiness. However, when you are running late because of a flat tire, you expect others to attribute the error to external factors rather than your personal behavior. Data on its own isn't biased one way or the other, but simply reflects numbers and percentages. Instead of relying on our own hunches or what we believe to be true about our students, our school, etc., which can be subject to various cognitive biases, data can show us how students are doing and where real needs lie. This is especially true when related to outcomes and what might be causing those needs. ASCA defines the school counselor's role as designing and delivering school counseling programs that improve student outcomes. Reviewing data will help us identify goals for student outcomes that will help guide our program's yearly focus. These goals aren't all that we do as a school counseling program or encompasses all of our work. We still deliver programming through lessons or large group presentations that all students receive, such as a counseling curriculum like Second Step, or college and career advising through an advisory period, or even instruction that's required locally or by the state, such as abuse or suicide prevention. Rather, the annual student outcome goals are intended to provide an area of focus where we spend a little more time and more targeted support and effort for the school year, based on our students' current needs or persistent gaps that need to be addressed. These goals may stay the same for several years, or they may change year to year depending on what results the data show. Either way, we revisit our data and goals each year. Student outcome goals, according to ASCA, should focus on outcomes related to either achievement, attendance, or discipline. Why these three areas? Research shows better attendance improves academic achievement, and students who behave better in school are more likely to achieve. And ultimately, student academic achievement, or really student success at school, is our ultimate goal as school counselors. In addition, in Indiana, we focus on the 3 domains that school counselors should be considering: academic achievement, college and career readiness, and student well-being. So where do we start? First, identify and describe who in your school can help you with data. Think about who runs your reports. Who is your data expert? Who can help you interpret the data? Again, think about available student data related to achievement, attendance, and discipline from state reports, from your student information system, and from others in your building. Next, look to your school improvement plan goals. What are they? The school improvement goals identify the school's prioritized work. Consider in which areas might be the school counseling program support the work of the school improvement plan. For example, if achievement is the school priority, you might work with students on academic skills, appropriate scheduling, or class attendance. If you do not sit on your school's improvement team, you can read the school improvement plan or make an appointment with your administrator to discuss the school improvement goals. It is important for the school counselor to think about how your work will inform the overall goals of your school. Next, you will review your school's achievement, attendance, and discipline data using whatever reports you may have identified. Again, these can be from the state, such as Indiana's InView from the DOE, from your school's own student information system, or any other reports or sources available to you. You'll first look at and identify what is working well according to your school data reports. As you begin looking at data, it's good to keep in mind that you don't need to track or look at everything. Select 2 or 3 measures within each of the 3 types of data and review those subgroups. For example, when looking at achievement data such as benchmark or standardized test results, you might narrow it down further to a specific grade level or group of students. Look at and identify what is working well according to your school data reports for achievement, for attendance, or for discipline. Be sure to look at disaggregated data by subgroups or categories such as by race or ethnicity, grade, gender, or socioeconomic status, or other means. Next, we'll look at some possible areas of need according to your school data reports. What are some possible areas of need according to your school data reports for achievement, attendance, or discipline? Again, make sure to look at disaggregated data for discrepancies by subgroup or category. Subgroup gaps could be by race or ethnicity, grade, gender, or socioeconomic status. Also, consider your school's demographic makeup. Use this information to compare data for specific student subgroups. For example, your school's population might include 15% English language learners, but these students represent more than 50% of your students who are retained. This would be a significant overrepresentation. Another example might include underrepresentation of students when only 15% of African American students are placed in AP classes, even though they make up 35% of your student population. Remember to look at how your school's data compares with district and state data or other comparable data. We'll also look at what else we might want to know. How does your school's data compare with district and state data or other comparable data? Again, district and state data can be found on the new IDOE GPS dashboard. Look for major trends or big needs. Think about, is there anything else you need or want to know? This might include other data like surveys, pre- and post-tests, or needs assessments, or even anecdotal information from teachers, administrators, or parents that can help inform or provide context about what might be contributing to your need, gap, or concern. If you use the student needs assessment provided in the platform, look at those results. These are all called supplemental data. Finally, you'll identify and prioritize a few data points you can address through your school counseling program. Remember, you are reviewing data to help focus your work and create student outcome goals. Think about which data points will matter most for the upcoming school year. Also, not all data points may be able to be impacted in a meaningful way by the school counseling program, and trying to focus on too many will probably result in less than effective work. If it's not the best use of your time, leave it off. Selecting just a few data points will help you be more intentional and focused in delivering targeted interventions for specific student subgroups. So, How do you narrow down your data to a few priority data points? First, think about your program's vision for all students from Module 1. Your vision statement communicates your program's ultimate outcomes for students, and consider which of these data points would most impactfully align with your vision for students. For example, if your vision says that all students are the best learners, friends, and citizens they can be, but you identified a high incidence of discipline referrals for aggressive behaviors, a student outcome goal focused on reducing those discipline referrals would help you move closer to your vision of having students who are the best friends and citizens they can be. Also, think about your school's improvement plan goals that you looked at when completing your school data summary and the areas you listed where the school counseling program might support the work of the school improvement plan. These are the priorities for your school and your administrators, so they can help provide a map to what is most important to your school right now. Finally, make sure to identify a data point that targets a gap for a narrow or specific group of students. A comprehensive school counseling program includes work around closing achievement, attendance, or opportunity gaps, or disciplinary inequities, and closing the gap work is always goal-driven. Closing the gap work is more narrowly focused and targets a particular subgroup or gap among student groups. Once you've narrowed down your data priority points to at least 2, but no more than 5, that will matter most, enter your data priority points and think about how your counseling program can address these. Then enter a brief description of how each of your data priority points will be addressed through your counseling program. At this point, this can be in a specific way, through a classroom lesson or a small group, for example, or in a more general or indirect way, such as counselors serving on the school's Safety and Crisis Response Committee, for example. Remember, don't get lost in too much data. Keep focused on what matters most at your school. Don't let the data confirm your assumptions. Let the data tell you what is actually happening. Your task to complete for the school data summary. 1. Identify and gather student achievement, attendance, and discipline data that are available to you. Also identify and gather any supplemental data such as needs assessments, surveys, and/or information from teachers and parents. 2. Review the data and complete all of the school data summary tasks in the platform. Completing the school data summary will help walk you through the process of analyzing and prioritizing your data, which will lead to our next set of tasks, setting goals. Thank you for joining us for this video. As always, do not hesitate to reach out with any questions or concerns. Please feel free to contact me at rfraser@doe.in.gov. If your question pertains to the online platform, you can also contact Amy Portis of Inspire Success, our technical partner, at amy@inspiresuccess.org.